Welcome back to my shop. Today I want to talk about my new machine. It's a Lathe 2436 Revo by Laguna. So I wanted to wait a few weeks before I did a video on this because I wanted some actual runtime on it and I wanted to really get a feel for it, what I like, what I don't like, and now I want to share some of that with you. So right from the beginning, when this thing was delivered, I was actually pretty impressed with everything. It came via UPS freight and they had a lift gate. The guy pulled it right up to my door, which was awesome. You could tell right away that it was packed well. The carton was fully intact. It was strapped to the pallet and it just looked very secure. When I opened it up, you could tell how they used the foam to separate the parts, that everything was going to be in good condition, and it was. Right away, you see on top when you open it up the first leg, and I thought I could just, pull that sucker out of there, no problem, but turns out one of my favorite things is the heavy legs and bed on this. And that was the first introduction I had, was trying to lift that leg. And I'll tell you what, it was a challenge. These legs are like ½ an inch thick, cast iron, and they weigh a ton, which is great when you're turning. Basically, I took apart the container, I just cut the corners of the boxes down and separated it out, and it was really secure in foam. I actually had to cut away foam and break foam to get the parts off, which was nice because they hadn't banged against each other. Previous lathe I had ordered, they just set some parts in a box with it and they banged around the whole way. So this was a much better way to do it. The foam fit everything really well, so it was separated and didn't scratch itself. And I was able to slide off the tailstock, the banjo, and the headstock very carefully, and that way there was no damage to those. The headstock was heavier than I thought, but you got to be real careful. I noticed the electronics box on the back, I didn't want to put any pressure on it. I didn't want to risk breaking it, so I was really careful not to mess with that box. But I was able to slide it off and lift the headstock by myself once I got it in position. So everything was laid out really well in the instructions. Putting the legs on the bed was only 8 bolts, 4 per leg, and 2 of us were able to do it pretty easily. I don't think I'd want to try it by myself. I'm sure you could do it if you had a hoist and everything, but lifting it, don't do it by yourself. It's just too heavy. But once we got all the parts in place, it was pretty easy to put together. There wasn't a lot to it. It was essentially putting the legs on and sliding the 3 parts back onto the bed. The other thing I did was, when I ordered this, I added some accessories. I got the 2 halogen lamps, which are awesome because they pivot in multiple ways and they're very stiff, which I like, because a lot of times these jointed lamps will fall on you when it's wobbling and working hard. And these are nice and robust. And with 2 of them, you can really get down into your project. So it's a really nice feature. The other thing I added was the vacuum system. With this, I couldn't find a lot of information on it. So I'm gonna actually do a video when I first use this, but I got the vacuum system. It comes with everything you need from what I can tell, except the chuck. Really easy to install, just 2 bolts for the box and threading into the spindle here. The vacuum chuck on the other end is what creates the vacuum when it's all sealed up. So we'll see how that goes. So I did order 2 things that haven't come in yet. I ordered the 20-inch extension and the wheel kit, which I haven't needed either, so that's fine. But I will say Laguna was good about letting me know they were back ordered and when they'd be here. Now I haven't needed the floor wheel kit because I plan on leaving this here, but I'm really glad I ordered it. I ordered it for future use, but I can see using it all the time to clean up behind this thing because I'm gonna need to clean a lot. So when I have the wheel kit, I can just pop it up, roll it out of the way, clean up very easily without the machine there, and then wheel it back and drop it down. So I'm glad it's coming. So probably my favorite thing so far has been the 2 control stations. I prefer the controls on the right side, so I almost always have it turned over here. If I'm doing something small, I may turn it to the headstock, but most of the time I'm on this side. And there's just a little switch back there that switches back and forth, and that's cool. I mean, it'd be nice if you could use either time or at any time, but I understand with the variable speed it would be difficult to have that talk to each other or talk to itself. So it's simple. You just flip a switch to decide which one you want to use. And I have noticed, and it's good, both emergency stops work no matter what unit you have running the machine. As far as what it came with in the package, 3-horse motor, which I love. I was only going to get a 3-horse 220, so I was looking at this and some other brands, and I went with this one because of the features. I like the digital readout. This tool rest has been really awesome and tough, nice smooth action. It came with a nice live center and a dead center. It does have brackets for over the spindle protector cage. Not sure what those are called. Never used one. And then it came with the mounts for the lights, which is good. So whether you're getting the lights or not, the lathe has the parts. You can always add them later. About the two controllers, it came with two plates. So you can mount it at the end of the bed on the front or up here at the back. I figured for me, up here is better because I won't run into it there because this is my walkway. So I didn't want it down and low. I thought it was better up here. It did come with a tool rack that mounts on the end. It came with a knockout bar that's pretty handy. Come in a few times already. It does have a really cool indexing system. It has a 3-set system for indexing. My first test of the lathe was, I had some black acacia. I had this big block, and it was like this big when I started. And it was wet. So this thing probably weighed like 50 or 60 pounds. And you could never dream of putting that on a mid-sized lathe. So that's just out of the question. But I put it on here, and it just turned it so easy. The 3 horsepower with the 220, it turns smooth. And I was able to just rough this thing out in no time. One other thing I like is that the tailstock and headstock are Morse Taper 2. So all my other accessories like my drill chucks, my different live centers and dead centers from my other lathe all work on here. So that about does it with this Revo review. It's the 2436. Awesome lathe so far. I'm really looking forward to doing a lot with it. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to put them below. I have a pretty cool video planned for this for my first project video on this lathe. We'll see how it goes. I mean, you guys, if you watch this channel, you know I'm a pen guy, so maybe that might give it away. Who knows? Thanks a lot. Please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel if you're not already subscribed, and I'll see you next time.